We can't keep believing we're sick and we're sick and we're sick and we shall always be sick. The things you were doing, the things that brought you sick, the things that caused you to be sick, stop them. If you expect to continue doing the things that you're doing and you think for things to change, you're dreaming. That is an illusion. Or you might want to call it a delusion. So we have to get real. Walk every day, exercise every day. If you want your face muscles to get tight, stretch your tongue and breathe deeply like this. In that way your muscles stretch. This woman come to me. She come to me before and want to come again. I say, you want to come again for me to tell you the same thing. So if you want to give me $100 again, fine. But you come in for me to tell you the same thing. So I look at her and I find she looking flabby. And I ask myself, if her muscles on the outside looking flabby, what do you think happening on the inside? Her hand looking flabby too. I say, sister, I don't mind getting your money, you know, but I don't really want your money. What I want you to do is to go out there and exercise. I see her 3-4 months after, she and me get eye contact and I look at her. And I didn't even have to ask her if she was exercising. Her skin gets tight again. Everything tight. I didn't talk in innocence and I hear a lot of the brothers laughing. This one is called the Tree of Life. So before Moringa come around, it's that we will call it the Tree of Life. This Tree of Life has the ability to regenerate cells. There are certain herbs that we call cell proliferants. Cayenne pepper, for example, is a cell proliferant. So if you have ulcer, the reason why cayenne pepper will heal the ulcer is because cayenne pepper has the ability to regenerate cells. The same way, this herb here has the ability to regenerate cells. We've treated people like that with kidneys that the doctors say couldn't regenerate. We've done the same thing with sea moss. So just to give you a hint, that within creation, we have herbs that can do almost anything imaginable when it comes to healing. Don't you know that there is a process in plants called photosynthesis? So in other words, plants have the ability to take photos of people and things around them. And the Russian scientists knew about that even before the Second World War. And they would put certain plants in certain areas where they knew the enemies were. And plug electrodes on the plants, hook up with television screens, and they could see their enemies around them in that way. A plant, if you look at a plant with hot oil in your hand, and you have a plan to burn a certain plant with the hot oil, the plant will begin to scream even before you throw the hot oil. The plant is able to connect with you telepathically. And let me give you a little information on the little obia in the bush medicine. And don't frighten because I say obia here. Because a lot of you are very hypocrite. Because when you all have problems, you all have to read things to you all, and now I'm talking about obia and you're acting as though you all don't know. So hear about the obia herbs. It's not as demonic as you may think. If I'm in the bush And I have the need to use the eucalyptus plant to treat somebody who going through a crisis of asthmatic attacks. And I do not have eucalyptus in my presence. And I use the tree of life. And I focus on the tree of life for 15 minutes, believing in my consciousness that it is the eucalyptus plant. The tree of life will act and work like eucalyptus for me. So that is what the Obi was all about.
Excuse Bobby. How you use?
This thing is called the tree of life.
How you use it? How you use it? What?
You dry it. It's a leaf, so you crush it and dry it. You boil the water and dry it.
Okay.
But because the leaves are so thick,
Yeah.
you can boil it slightly.
Oh, okay.
What do you call this leaf here? This leaf?
We call it bee bush.
Huh?
We call it bee bush.
Bee bush. Okay. Some people call it coralism.
Yeah.
It's one of the best herbs for infection.
It's a coral vine.
It's one of the better herbs for coughs. You draw it and drink it. It seals the mucous membranes. It eases the nervous system so that the spasms, the tickling that you feel in your throat is stopped. So this for cough.
He just swore.
This is a herb, when you make tea with it, the tea gets red. They call it St. John's. It's not St. John's wort that.
No. I don't tell them.
Sorry. They call it St. John's herb. It is very great for reducing blood pressure. It's also good to clean your blood. And what cleans the blood also cleans the blood of mucus. You use about 5 leaves of it, about a tablespoon or 2 tablespoons to a cup of hot water. And you draw it and drink it.
You're going to drink some aquavita water? Aquavita water?
They're laughing at you drinking your water.
I do have a choice. So if you do have river, what do you want me to do? I do have no sister here, I took away some water. Yeah, man. Hibiscus.
Oh, I know that one.
The leaves of the hibiscus is very cooling. So when we use acid food, our body gets hot and we need to cool our body. So we use the hibiscus flower. You can also use the leaves and the flower to wash your hair. So the local shampoo. If you drink them, for people who bleed on the inside or those suffering with ulcers, it can be drunk as a tea. So both the flowers and the leaves can be internalized as a tea. The mucilage or the sticky aspect of it indicates that it's good for the mucous membranes and the joints. So they act like your oil and your grease.
Just cut it up.
So just to let you know. Cough.
Yeah, that's one I need to know.
And liver issues is very bitter. Good also to clean your blood.
We call it rabbit food?
We call it rabbit food. In Patois we call it gotet. The leaves of it and the bulbs of it too. It's good for flus, it's good for liver, it's good for viruses. And talking about viruses, the neem is great. Say that again. The neem is great to fight viruses.
You like that?
The leaves of the guava is great. Not of the guava, the papaya is great to fight viruses.
Yeah.
Man better man.
This herb is called man better man. So if a man better than another man. so this is high in iron. It's an aphrodisiac of sorts. But it will also kill parasites, good for fevers.
Yeah.
And issues like mercury poisoning, like fish poisoning and so. The root is good too. But the stem, the leaves is good for toxins. So it's good for
They don't put that
detoxing.
in sarsaparilla drink.
Yeah. Oh, you should know that.
Cleary cedar. Some people call it white cedar.
Rainfall bush, we call it.
High in chlorophyll. So you can use that in your chlorophyll drink. The bush juice I'm talking about, you can use a few leaves of this, a few leaves of sage, a few leaves of tiki thyme, grate some ginger, some lemongrass, spinach, use some of this. But this is another of the herbs that we use to take bush baths. The leaves of it, you crush it.
We call it rainfall.
Rainforest, you call it rainforest here.
Rainfall, yeah.
Right. So you crush it in hot water. Or if you have a bathtub, you use an odd number of herbs in the bathtub. Like the neem, like the maiden apple,
Use 3, yeah.
and this rainforest. You crush them in hot water and you put it in your bathtub. You drink some of the same herbs you use to take the bush bath. Why do you take the bush bath? You spend like half hour in the bush bath, you come out of it and you cover yourself so that your body could sweat. When your body sweats, and those whose body cannot sweat, they can do that to induce sweat. Now I'm not talking about the oversweat of menopause, but sometimes you need to sweat to clean out your pores. You see? So these are some of the herbs that you can use to do bush bath. This is excellent for most skin problems. In addition to my antiseptic salve, of course. We've treated people, man, whose skin was so terrible with bush baths, with internal cleansing. Sometimes without even using something externally. By cleaning the bowel and the blood and the liver and the kidney, which are the filters. By juicing. That is why I was talking on the radio yesterday and somebody said that Sami who taught me herbology talking about garlic being man-made. So I told them another sign of the coin is people who have serious skin problems when they juice with beets and celery and garlic and apple. Very often the rashes come out because of the garlic in there. We know that there were Roman Catholic priests who went in areas of war during the First and Second World War. And everybody around them was dying, excluding them. And when they found out, their body was smelling of garlic. That is what caused them to survive. There was a certain platoon who didn't even realize the war had stopped and was in the bush all that time. And when they rediscovered them, they found that they were stinking so bad of garlic. But when they tested them, nothing inside of them was bad. So this is very antiseptic for sores, you know. But the thing about garlic is that it doesn't stop bleeding on the inside. So we have to be conscious of those things. So even in considering all those things and our need to use herbs that only God made, let us think of things like sage, thyme, rosemary, and cilantro to use as seasonings, chives. You understand? The food will be palatable and at the same time you will be putting on the pure stuff in your body like that. Yes, this herb here, I was telling the brothers, it has a yellow flower on it. It's very difficult to take out from the ground. When I used to play football, or if now I get a sprint for playing football, I will mix this, cut this in little pieces with aloes. Put salt, coconut oil, warm it a little bit and tie it on my foot. And within 2 days or 3 days, my foot is back to normal. The inflammation is gone. And you can kick the soccer ball again. We call it, some people, we call it palier savant. Some people call it broom broom. This is very astringent. This is very astringent. It closes everything. So it's a good thing that the sisters can use if they are being abused. It will bring much ecstasy, because this is one of the other things that tightens everything. Okay?
Could that be used for strain, like muscle pull? Muscle
pain, but any slackness in your body it will help. So even slackness of the heart it will help. Spinach. If you boil spinach, it's a poison.
Yeah.
It will become very acid and it will cause stones.
That's right.
But if you choose spinach juice, it will take out the stones. You see the difference in terms of preparation? So you choose vegetables, you don't boil them. You boil the lentil and the pumpkin, and when you turn the fire off, and then put the vegetables in the soup. You don't put the vegetables in the soup and boil it for 30 minutes. The more you cook it, you're cooking it dead. You don't want no dead soup, you want live soup. So put the vegetables in the soup after you cook the beans. And just simply mix the vegetables in the soup and turn the fire off. That boiling of vegetables is ridiculous. All leafy vegetables are alkaline. What is alkaline is what removes mucus and doesn't put mucus in your body. When you boil the vegetables, they become acid and cause mucus to come in your body. Remember, as I was telling you earlier, there's only one disease, and that disease is mucus.